Melanie says tonight that denying Jewish nationhood is anti-Semitic, and yet she has no issue erasing the Palestinian people from the face of the planet. What is that? Is that not bigotry? Einat mentioned anti-Zionism has become a respectable, shiny way of being an anti-Semite. Am I an anti-Semite? Are all the Palestinians anti-Semites? I ask Einat, Melanie, do you support an Israel for all its citizens?
The state of all its citizens.
No, it's not. You're gaslighting.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am a Riva, and I was taught how to pray Salah.
That means every single time I pray,
the person who told me gets the reward.
5 times a day, from Fajr to Isha.
If you want to support someone like me in learning Salah,
then sponsor 10 people for just £100.
remember the Prophet, peace be upon him, said,
Charity does not decrease wealth. Click the button and donate now.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. If you're watching this video and it's Salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. Please check out the description section of this video to support the channel. I just got done watching another masterclass debate by Mehdi Hasan, where he completely destroyed an entire anti-Palestine panel by exposing their Zionist propaganda for the complete nonsense that it is. Mehdi not only listed off the ugly facts about the Israeli occupation, ethnic cleansing and displacement of Palestinians, he also exposed Israel for being the dangerous and corrupt apartheid ethno-state that they are. It was so satisfying to see his opponents' reactions as their cheap lies backfired on them in their face. Let's watch the first clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been witnessing tonight a deeply cynical proposition deliver a farrago of straw men, distortions, deflections, false accusations, and of course, straight up pro-Israel propaganda. The motion says, quote, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. That merely being opposed to Zionism, a political ideology, remember, is inherently, by definition, ipso facto, anti-Semitic, which is absurd. Even the many Jewish and Israeli anti-Zionists, the thousands of Haredi, ultra-Orthodox, anti-Zionist Jews who oppose Zionism for religious theological reasons, they're anti-Semites too. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the 35 top Israeli Jewish scholars and academics who came together just a few months ago and published an open letter in which they wrote, and I quote, many victims of the Holocaust opposed Zionism. On the other hand, many anti-Semites supported Zionism. It is nonsensical and inappropriate to identify anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. End quote. Are they anti-Semites too? Really? All 35 of them? Einat mentioned anti-Zionism has become a respectable, shiny way of being an anti-Semite. So I'm an anti-Semite who's using anti-Zionism in a respectable, shiny way. Why not just come out and say it? I don't know why you're hiding it. Call me an anti-Semite.
Are you calling Mehdi an anti-Semite?
Am I an anti-Semite? Because I say I'm an anti-Zionist.
I know you're not, Melanie.
Are all the Palestinians anti-Semites? Because they're all anti-Zionists. Just say it. Be brave. Be brave. Say it. I'm always amused. Einat made a crack in her speech, and now again that we know what binational states are like in the Middle East. I'm always amused when Israelis say this, because last time I checked, 20% of the Israeli population is Palestinian. So it's already a binational state. We just want to give the Palestinian part of that state equal rights. Every year, Arab MPs, Palestinian citizens of Israel in the Knesset, almost every year, put a bill forward to turn Israel into, quote, a state for all its citizens. And every year, the president of the Knesset, last year he did it, will not allow it to even reach the floor for deliberation. So tonight I ask Einat, Melanie, do you support an Israel for all its citizens? Because I do. We can call it Israel, call it whatever you want, but just give it a state for all its citizens.
It is a state of all its citizens.
No, it's not.
It's very simple.
In fact,
Israel is a state of all its
literally
citizens.
blocked a bill. The Supreme Court blocked the bill. You're gaslighting, Einat. The Supreme Court blocked the bill to make it a state of all its citizens. You know that. But to ask the Palestinians to just, not just accept their dispossession, their ethnic cleansing, their ongoing occupation, but to also call themselves Zionists or else is outrageous. You can't ask Palestinians to be Zionists. You just can't. And by the way, if they say it's racist to oppose Zionism, well, it's racist to ask Palestinians not to oppose their own occupiers. Jews who oppose Zionism in good faith. We haven't talked about that tonight. Don't tar all those people who are fighting for human rights, who are fighting in good faith, as racists, as self-hating Jews, as anti-Semites, for the sake of a political ideology. Don't do it.
As Mehdi brilliantly put it, devious pro-Israeli propaganda has always consisted of distortions, deflections, false accusations, and strawman arguments. As he said, anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. This lazy allegation literally means nothing anymore due to its overuse and its misuse in slandering anyone who dares to oppose Israel's war crimes. Mehdi was correct to say it's not only absurd to label the oppressed and occupied Palestinians anti-Semitic for opposing Zionism, along with anybody who criticizes Israel, it's also ridiculous to label anti-Zionist Jews and anti-Zionist Israelis the same way because they're Jewish. The crazy part is the panel, despite being dumbfounded, didn't even deny this ludicrous stance, which just further confirmed how non-impactful and pathetic this false accusation of anti-Semitism has become. Mehdi made an interesting point when he quoted prominent Israeli Jewish scholars who made the claim that many Jewish victims of World War II opposed Zionism, as it contradicted their own struggles with ethnic cleansing. And many far-right anti-Semites, on the other hand, were pro-Zionism due to their motives of wanting to eject Jewish people from Europe. As Mehdi stated, Israel is an apartheid state that mistreats their Muslim, Christian, and Palestinian citizens through unequal treatment simply because they're not Jewish, with Israeli government officials even going as far as ensuring no bills are allowed to pass that permit all their citizens to receive equal treatment and basic human rights. And despite the Palestine-Hating panel's outright lies and denial of these facts, Mehdi exposed their disgraceful supremacy by calling out their insane demands of indigenous Palestinians to conform to the Zionist ideology of their colonizers, or else. As Mehdi said, unlike the false correlation between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, the real definition of bigotry and prejudice is what the Israeli regime is doing to the Palestinians, who are the rightful owners of that land. Let's watch the last clip.
The proposition tonight, like the Netanyahu government, like the Trump administration, want you to ludicrously believe that the threat to Jews right now, the real rise in the new anti-Semitism, comes from the anti-Zionists, from the Palestinians. When the irony is that Netanyahu, Prime Minister of the world's only Jewish state, has been cozying up to some of the worst anti-Semites on the right, who also happen to be proud Zionists. Let's be clear about that. Many of the most prominent, influential, right-wing anti-Semites today, Donald Trump, Viktor Orban, Steve Bannon, they're not anti-Zionists. They're hard-right, hardcore Zionists and pals of Netanyahu. Einat mentioned that it's anti-Semitic to suggest Israel is born in sin. They say that when you oppose Zionism, you're denying Jews and no one else a right to self-determination, which is just flat false. Not every nation or ethnic group wants a state, gets a state, has a state. Ask the Kurds, ask the Catalans, ask the Scots. There are more than 5,000 ethnic groups in the world today, but only 193 member states at the United Nations. National self-determination doesn't always correspond with statehood. The issue is whether those historic and religious claims justify creating and expanding a Jewish majority state in which one ethnic group is privileged over another, while another group is permanently disenfranchised, dispossessed, and subjected to endless military occupation. The Palestinian people. To say to them that you're either a Zionist, you either subscribe to the ideology of your oppressor, or you're a racist. What kind of choice is that? Melanie says tonight that denying Jewish nationhood is racist, it's anti-Semitic. And yet she has no issue erasing the Palestinian people from the face of the planet. She said in her speech that only the Jews have a unique right to nationhood and statehood in that part of the world, not the Palestinians. What is that? Is that not bigotry? Is that not racism? Is that not wiping a people off the face of the planet? This is what the Israeli, pro-Israeli argument has always been. To silence the Palestinians, to silence their opposition to occupation, to silence their resistance as Palestinian citizens living inside of Israel, to a nationalistic ideology which treats them like second-class citizens, which denies them many of the rights and privileges of the majority. It is an egregious smear, a naked slur to claim, to label those of us, Jews and non-Jews alike, who oppose a political ideology in good faith, because we think it's unjust, iniquitous, oppressive, to label us as anti-Semites for holding that political view. Those of us who value our free speech, who don't want to see anti-Semitism cynically weaponized by supporters of Israel, who oppose that ideology of Zionism in good faith with good reason, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not be silenced. We will not be bullied. We will not be cowed. We will not be smeared.
Mehdi made a great point when he said that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump have merged the toxic Zionist movement with the previously anti-Semitic far right. This alliance alone tells us about how Zionism is literally fueled by discrimination and small-minded nationalistic supremacy. Mehdi was spot on when he said opposing a Jewish supremacist ethno-state is not anti-Semitic. It's simply a valid and completely reasonable political stance. And he correctly stated that no matter how many one-sided historic or religious excuses are made to lay claim to a Jewish majority state where one ethnic group is privileged over another, while the other group is subjected to endless military occupation, it doesn't change the fact that this is blatantly racist and immoral. The pro-Israel panel looked completely stupefied as Mehdi dismantled every single piece of their false Zionist propaganda. As he said, Israel has always relied on silencing the Palestinians and their supporters, Jews and non-Jews, through smearing us with the preposterous slur of anti-Semitism, simply because we oppose their unjust treatment of other human beings. And as Mehdi put it, the cat's out the bag. These tricks no longer work anymore. We will not be silenced, we will not be bullied, and we will no longer fear these fickle accusations. The world is wise to the Israeli regime's corruption, and no matter how much money they spend on their propaganda to desperately try and change that or to do damage control, it's not going to work. Thank you for watching. Make sure to join my free Telegram group via the link in the description. And remember to like, subscribe, and become a channel member for access to exclusive content. Until next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah.